everybody, welcome back to Kyle and I Talk About Things We Shouldn't.
Yep.
I'm your host, and that's Kyle.
It is me.
And we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are.
So,
Get my energy back.
Like the other two podcasts, I have a list of topics that I wrote, essentially shower thoughts, except I was sitting at my desk letting my brain rot as much as it could so I could come up with fascinating topics. Which, you know, have nothing to do with anything. But here we are again. And so I have a list of topics from 1 to 14. You can pick any of them that aren't 7, 8, and 3.
Let's see. Let's go with 13.
Ooh, Lord. I didn't tell you, but...
What spooky thing do you have for number 13?
Okay, this one's interesting. So as they go on,
you got more and more insane, so they get weirder and weirder.
They did actually. No, it's really funny.
That's true. I should probably be picking the earlier ones.
The earlier ones are like totally normal, good thoughts that I got from like smart people on the internet.
I should have thought of this. I should have anticipated this.
And then and then eventually I got it to what if you could just consume humans like food?
Is that what I just picked?
No.
Okay.
But it's really funny. So it goes all the way to 13 and it's like absurd, and then it goes to 14 and it's just like normal. 14 is like, oh, I had a normal thought. I'm gonna write this down. Okay, so Kyle. All right. I'm just gonna ask you the topic question because I find it fascinating within itself, and I'm curious as to your opinion. So we're just gonna jump just straight into it.
All right, I'm bracing myself.
No, I think this is a fascinating one. It's not really. It's not like what if we have 8 squid arms?
You're not gonna talk me down. I'm ready.
Hang on, let me write that down real fast.
I'm bracing for impact.
Okay, Kyle. What if you could kill anybody? But as a result of killing them, you actually had to legally, and maybe in this universe there's no way that you could avoid this, take on every single one of their life responsibilities. So this is, let me give you an example, because this is wild.
Are you describing the Santa Claus featuring Tim Allen?
I don't know. Am I?
I'm pretty sure this is just the plot of the Santa Claus.
It is?
He scares Santa into falling off of his roof, and Santa dies, and he picks up the coat, and there's a little piece of paper on the inside that says, because Santa is now dead and you are putting on this coat, you now become Santa. And apparently that's how being Santa works.
This is what I'm talking about, yeah. Yeah. I've never seen this movie.
You haven't seen the Santa Claus?
It's Tim Allen, right?
Yeah.
That's why.
But I mean, it's like, okay, sorry. The movie is insane and weird, but it's a Christmas classic. I'm surprised you haven't seen it.
Well, aren't they all?
We'll have to watch that this Christmas.
Every Christmas classic is an absolute train wreck of an idea.
Yeah, the fact that Christmas is a genre is really just a train wreck of an idea.
So this was a spin-off of another topic idea that we'll get into, which is what if prisons didn't exist? But it got me spinning around in circles on other ideas.
No, this is easier. This is more specific, and we can. I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like these definitely go better when we start with really specific ideas and then can branch out from them instead of the other way around.
It's hard for me to do that though, so we have to start general and anyway. But my point is, so let's say you were legally allowed to murder people.
So we're making up a hypothetical situation where if you kill someone, you have to take on their their debts and their responsibilities. And any consequences that would come from not fulfilling those responsibilities. Mm-hmm. Okay. I guess first thought is if you're killing someone, you probably don't care too much about the legal system in the first place. But I'm gonna pass over that for the sake of this podcast.
Because it's legal in this universe. Legally, you're allowed to kill somebody, but there are other legal consequences like taking over their debt and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Let's say, if the idea is you killed a contributing member of society and therefore have to equal back their contribution since you removed their existence.
Okay.
How do you feel about this? Is this better than prison?
Is it better than prison? Well, no.
No.
Because it wouldn't always be a punishment. What if your life just sucks? And you're like, I want to be I want to be Santa Claus. I'm just going to go kill Santa Claus and be Santa. That sounds way more fun than what I got going on. Okay, that just creates another motive for murder without any consequences, arguably, for that person.
I get the Santa thing, but
That's not what I'm talking about. Fine. I want to be president. I'm going to murder the president and then I'm going to be president because that's how this world works.
That's a fascinating idea.
Like then that's just I mean, I guess I don't know if that's just being like that's just a feudal system, I guess at that point. That's we've done this. This world has existed actually. We evolved past a version of this world.
You said feudal system. I was like thinking like lions. Like, oh, you killed the man at top. You get to be the man at top now.
And
Cuz
the first thing you thought of was lions.
yeah.
You know, the Lion King and the concept of lions working that way is based off of human kings and actual feudal governments.
This is also how animals work, though. Like tribes of animals,
Right.
they'll fight each other.
That's what I was saying.
for
We've
hierarchy.
evolved past this. Like this world has existed. Human beings also did this at one point.
Yeah, I just went further back in you. We were thinking the same thing. I just have a vintage mind, you know? It's retro up there. That's all.
I just think it's funny that the first thing you went to was lions instead of people.
I was also thinking of like gorillas and wolves. They were on my list. Lions are just badass about it. I don't know. Point is. Also, and it might be, this might actually go to show where my
Okay, but
history education starts and stops because I don't know what you're talking about and didn't know it existed.
Okay. There definitely have been like forms of government in the past where like, I mean, yeah, you assassinate the leader and you become the leader. Sometimes you have to like do a little bit more finagling so that people don't know that that's exactly what you did. But it's definitely like, it's a thing. It is a practice people have undertaken before. So this has existed. So that might be a good place to start because let's assume that we exist within a world where you can kill your way to the top, right? But
Okay.
you're also suggesting an addendum to this, which is if you kill someone, say, beneath your station, you have to take on their responsibilities as well. And I
Right.
don't know if historically anything like that has ever existed.
Well, I guess
Maybe it has.
Oh my gosh.
I'd actually be really curious to look into that. If you have,
Well,
if
you-
anyone
so-
knows in the comments, let us know if this has
I would
happened.
argue you inherently implied something into it, or maybe I implied it by the way I phrased it. But taking on someone's responsibilities, I didn't think inherently meant taking on their position. If you take on
What do you
someone's
think of
responsibilities,
other than your job within society? Like if you took on someone's responsibilities as president, then you were doing the job of the president.
no, you're absolutely right. President is a good example of why that premise fell through.
Yeah.
But I was thinking like if you killed, your neighbor because you hate your neighbor,
Right.
you take on their bills, you take on
Right.
their financial burdens, you take on their.
Well, yeah, okay. So let's talk about it as a crime deterrent because that's how you were intending to bring it up, right?
I'm bringing it up and then it's running its course.
Okay,
but
sure.
that is how that's how it was sitting in my mind. But you
Yeah.
brought up the president thing it's not
I guess
invalid.
like, would that be enough? I guess at that point the problem is that it's a. I mean, well, okay. I was gonna say at that point the problem is that there's a tangible cost of killing someone. Right,
yeah.
And you could still make that decision if you decide you can afford it, basically.
Yeah.
But arguably, that's true now. It's like
True.
I can afford X number of years in prison or whatever my bail is to kill this person.
That's a good
And
point.
and I would even argue that some people, like I don't know, O.J. Simpson types, do in fact make that decision.
That's true. The rich really can do anything.
Right. If you can
Actually,
if you can afford it.
I was thinking about
this
this,
kind of
though.
goes into the whole conversation we had with your mom the other day too about like if you can afford to break the law, you just kind of will probably.
Yeah. I was. This reminded me though. Like, could you imagine if like you killed somebody's husband or wife because like you hate them, but then you have to take over their financial responsibilities? So like you just like write a note on a check for like $5,000. That's like, here's my half of the rent from the man who killed your husband since
Right.
you needed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess like some amount of this kind of exists. I mean, it's like suing kind of is this to a degree too.
that's a
like
good
if we
point.
back it down from murder, if you wrong someone, they are allowed to go to the court and be like, they owe me for this wrong they committed.
Well, dead people can't do that.
No, dead people can't. The other people around them can, though.
Yeah.
But I guess you can't do like the.
This was a quick podcast. All right, doesn't work, guys.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, let's see what we can springboard off of this though.
We can go back to the prison.
I want to go back to the Santa Claus. What if?
Why?
What?
Why do you want to do that?
Because I think that's a more interesting. Because making it law makes it too easy to opt out of. I need to figure out a way to introduce this scientifically, because otherwise it's not actually a futurism podcast.
All right, you do your thing.
The reason why I think the premise works in the Santa Claus is because he literally does not have any choice. It's forced upon him since you haven't watched the Santa Claus for some weird reason, like a weirdo.
I know Christmas movies work, so I assume the fates. He like suddenly wakes up with a white beard.
Yeah, he starts growing the big beard and
Gotcha.
getting fat, and everybody like starts thinking he's weird, and like the elves are mad at him because he doesn't want to go to the North Pole, but like Christmas is going to be canceled and everybody's going to hate him because he's Santa Claus now.
Wait,
and
you're
so,
talking about something way more absurd that I want to get into, which is that once you've murdered someone, you've officially taken on their full identity.
Well, I guess yes, that's what I'm saying. I want to get to that part, but I think
that's true. Does that mean in the process of murdering someone, you actually only murder yourself? Because if you murder someone and then you have to take on their full identity, the old version of you that was a murderer is now gone. And so really murder is reverse murder, and it's not illegal.
This episode is officially based in
drugs.
In nothing. And there's no practical foundation for the conversation we are having anymore, because we were talking about magic. Because the problem is you cannot uphold this in real life.
You wanted to talk about magic.
The problem.
You brought up Santa Claus.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's the only way this premise works. Because you can't enforce that on somebody without the use of magic. Like you can't, because yes, I think it's a different, interesting conversation.
Right.
Of like, if you kill them, you become them, basically. And okay, let's talk about let's assume somehow this is enforceable and that legally it's like you killed that person, you now function as that person, and we take away everything from you as a result. You now have to switch lives, essentially. Mm-hmm. Like,
this isn't magic.
What am I even talking about? What?
This doesn't have to. I'm going to make it not magic.
How is this a punishment? How is this a basis for anything?
I'm gonna make this not magic, right?
Okay.
So like you kill somebody, and now you have to you don't wake up with a white beard, right? Because you killed Santa. What happens is there's their own government undercover program that shows up at your house overnight and just
okay,
indoctrinates you into this new human. They just remove everything about you that made you before.
Yeah.
And now you're this other human, and you have all their old clothes, and you have their job and everything. You don't remember being you because now you're them. Really, we don't need magic. We need mind control and our own special government force program.
Okay. Okay.
Boom.
Assuming
I've just made this a futurology podcast and no longer about magic. I've just turned this into a.
You did at least get us there. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Assuming that the method that you just described is remotely feasible.
Yeah.
And just kind of skipping past the how do you deal with the relationships that person had, and are they supposed to now accept you into their lives
what if they had
as
to?
this person's replacement?
Well, I don't know, Kyle. How did the Santa Claus movie go? He's married. He's a married man. Was she chill?
Actually, he wasn't. There's a whole sequel called The Mrs. Claus where he has to find his Mrs. Claus, or he has to stop being Santa or something. I don't remember. I didn't watch that.
You're shitting on me for being absurd, and then you keep bringing up absurdist movie concepts.
You described this. Just because you hadn't seen the idea already play out doesn't mean you didn't come up with the exact same idea. I've just seen the consequences of what you're just now coming up with.
What happens when you leave me alone? I was just trying to think of alternatives for prison. Didn't work well.
Okay, no, that's what I was getting at. Assuming it works and ignoring the really weird consequences of hi, ma'am, the man who killed your husband now is your husband, I guess.
It's hard to deal with.
Would it actually even be a deterrent? Because again, it feels like you're actually just incentivizing down on their luck homeless people to go murder people who are better off than them so that they can become them.
Well, we just talked about how the people who benefit from this most and are most capable are the rich, so homeless people probably don't have means.
Go on.
That was it.
No, you caught my attention now.
My only point was just in terms of following logic. We already agreed logically.
No. What you've done is you created the blue shell system that people have argued for in.
I literally don't know what you're talking about.
Have you heard there's a metaphor that went around that's been going around this year of like what we need like the equivalent of the blue shell from Mario Kart for economics. Where the richer you get, the closer to first place you are, the more vulnerable you are, right?
Yeah.
You've just created a really violent version of that reality. Actually, is what you've done.
This is not what I want my existence to be for.
Because you're right, rich people would have no incentive to kill anybody. You only want to kill people to go up the ladder in this world that you've created.
Well, rich people have incentive.
Because if you're at the top, why bother, right? You're not gonna. You can't gain anything from becoming someone else. So you personally can't kill anyone.
Right. So the rich actually have no incentive to murder or have affairs or anything. Because like you have an affair with a woman, you murder her, but then you have to become that woman, and that would just be way more complicated than being a fancy rich dude. Maybe I've solved the problem with the wealthy. Maybe this is the answer.
This
to
is
the
weirdest
uprising.
episode we've ever had.
Look, here's what happened. You left me at my desk alone to bake in a hot sun in Texas with my own thoughts and nothing to encourage intelligence, just pure brain mush ideas. And then you gave me a platform in which I was allowed to speak those ideas, and here we are.
Okay. Well, no. Now we've found the path in this forest, and we're going down it. So
let's go.
So I think my question now is: in this weird, messed up society where it's basically a free for all to see who can be on top by killing their way there, how do you stay on top? How do you become number one and keep the position of number one? Because you can't kill anyone yourself or you go down, right? It's not even just that you're more vulnerable. It's that if you make the kills, you still drop. So what do? I think right off the top of my head, what you have to do is you have to hire people down at level 1 to kill your threats higher up.
But they would just kill you. If you hired them and got them close to you, they would kill you.
I wouldn't get them close to me.
Wait, but does this come full circle and make the top spot undesirable, and therefore the homeless are no longer killing the rich, and we've actually solved murder entirely? Oh no, murder only becomes a middle class problem because then people are just switching amongst the same status in society. But the homeless and the rich no longer do anything because no one wants to be the rich because they're chased and no one wants to be the
No, you ruined it. It was going to be interesting, and then you turned it into just exactly what we have now again. Because now it's just the rich people pitting everybody below them against each other.
Except for the homeless.
Which is what's happening right now.
Except for the homeless.
What? Except for the homeless?
The people who are spared are the super poor and the super rich.
Yeah, maybe. No, I mean, the homeless are still in it. No, it's just the super rich. It's just the rich have the ability to go like, you don't want to be me. No. Kill the people below me. They're your enemies.
Hang on. You said I ruined it. I feel bad. Let's back it up. Go down the most interesting timeline of this.
What is the most interesting timeline?
Oh, I thought you had something in mind.
Well, I felt like I was going on a roll in that term. Maybe it wasn't your fault. Maybe this is just inevitably where it was going to go.
It's so disappointing that every time we have this podcast, the end result is dystopia.
We're already there and it's bad.
Yes. Every time I'm like, let's get ahead of ourselves, and then we're like, back it up. We're already there. Podcast.
This actually turns into like my like the second place chant video.
Oh, kind
of. It's like, well, because because it's like. I guess, okay, what is the most comfortable tier? What is the least killable? Who doesn't get killed at this point? It's almost like you would benefit from being like a homeless person in a way, right? It's like at least you could live without the stress.
So it's interesting that you say that, but like homeless people kill each other for like drugs and like better sleeping conditions.
I mean, yeah, I guess you would still have the regular problems, but we've definitely introduced another awful problem into this world.
We have?
Yeah. You would constantly be a threat. You and I live a very comfortable life.
Oh yeah.
Compared to other people, we would constantly be in danger.
Yeah.
This would be a whole. It's a video game ranking system. It's like I don't know. I can't actually think of an existing game.
I feel bad. I think
where
we're giving
works.
Gen Z like too many ideas. We should like if there's any generation I trust to not like. If there's any generation I trust to completely go against the grain and like rewrite the like foundation of humans and what they aren't acceptable with, it's Gen Z. Like, they scare me so much in a good way. I love you.
I mean, yeah.
If any Gen Zs are listening, like,
I think it'll be for the
you're
best.
my favorite people.
Save us all, please.
Yeah, like, eat the rich, turn them into soup, and just like slurp them down. Like, I'm with you.
I wanted to be this person, but I think I was slightly too early.
Anyway, this is getting ahead of ourselves, the political podcast. I'm just kidding. Like, we obviously have political views, but for the most part, I'm here for the absurdism.
Maybe we should. So we created this weird like Hunger Games video game world in which, like, I'm not sure there's anywhere else to go. Is the weird thing. Like, I feel like we established what this looks like, and it's chaos.
Yeah,
and the rich people somehow still win. So going back to so your original intention was coming up with. You started with what if there are no jails?
I did.
Right. You were talking about this as punishment, and the problem is the idea you came up with creates more opportunity than it does punishment.
You're right.
So what if we rewind? What if we go all the way back to the beginning, and we try to come up with what is a version of this that actually feels more like a punishment alternative rather than an incentive? Is that more fun? Is that a better podcast, or is
what's
that
a good way to punish people that isn't in prison? Or what's it?
I guess. Is that what I'm asking? Is that interesting?
I don't think that's... I actually do think it's incredibly interesting, and I think it's really fascinating. I think we only have like 10 minutes left.
We do. Let's solve the American prison system in 10 minutes.
Okay, I think we could do this.
Okay.
Actually, I don't... So what's really annoying is I know that there are people theorizing about this right now and have really good ideas, and
you don't know any of them.
I don't know any of them.
No, I have not looked into this at all.
I just know I probably agree. But
maybe we'll accidentally come up with one of the same things.
Okay, so someone murders somebody.
Yeah.
What do?
What? What do? What do if kill? The age-old question.
Prison, because prison don't. So what do?
Existing options have been also kill.
Okay, so I think
don't kill but put in box.
I think if I remember, it's basically I think solving this problem is just like, what do we do with the current prisoners? Which is, I think people have incentivized putting them in the military, like no prison, only military. Oops, out of ideas. I think.
Well, okay, so you started by, your idea was what if they were forced to take on the debts and responsibilities of the person they killed, which is interesting. It reminds me of an idea that I feel like everybody had in middle school or high school at one point, which is, I think everybody at one point had the thought of like, prisoners should just have the same thing done to them that they did, right?
Oh yeah.
But then, like, it doesn't take long for you to go like, ooh, no, that doesn't work. You can't do that.
Well, yeah, I guess it just depends if you're for reform or revenge.
Right.
But no, okay, so here's what let me let you into my mind.
What if, okay, sorry, I had a thought, but I'll let you go first.
Me, as a person who not realistically wishes death upon people, but mostly that they would just like poof out of existence.
Yeah.
But knows that the answer to that, like, realistically is murder. But also me, person who is not making lots of money and in debt and feels burdened by regular things. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't murder somebody if I had to take on their financial responsibilities. Like, what if they had a mom in the hospital who was like dying of cancer and you had to pay for her bills? Like, that would in fact stop me. Now, I wouldn't murder somebody to begin with, but my lizard brain was like, I won't kill that person. They have bills that I can't afford to pay. Right. And then you obviously pointed out every reason why that's stupid. That's how my thought was.
I'm still trying really hard to make your idea work. Like how
it could exist.
My new thought was like, what if you make the person who broke it fix it, right? To the best of what that could mean, which is like would involve taking on debts, but also would involve trying to like, it's your responsibility now to mitigate whatever additional like damage, ripple effect damage you caused.
Yeah. Okay. So here's
what does that world look like?
If you murder someone, you now have to birth people.
What? That's not the direction I was going with this at all.
I couldn't think of the right.
What are you?
I couldn't think of the right word, but like not.
I mean, that's kind of what I said, but not like where I was. That's not. It's so much further than what I was thinking.
Okay, hang on. I didn't mean like you physically had to birth them out of your body. I just meant like you murdered a person, so you're payback to society.
You have to replace it with a new person. I mean,
yes. Yeah. Wait, I thought that is where you were going. I don't know how I misunderstood that.
Oh my God.
You murder someone, so you make up for it by creating new people. And you do that in a different way. So you could actually birth somebody, but if you're a man, you can't do that. But then you have to become like a nurse or a doctor or whatever.
So this is like you cut the tree down. Now you have to go plant trees, like
Yeah.
as like that kind of punishment. Like
Yeah. So now you're suddenly a doctor. You're an OBGYN. You have to be. You have no
Okay.
choice now other than to be an OBGYN.
Okay, no, okay.
Like you've lost everything about your life that you have, but
God.
now you're an unpaid OBGYN that has to birth humans into the world because you've taken lives.
This whole episode feels like when you're walking along a curb or something, and you start like every now and then you start going like, "Oh God, I'm gonna fall. And you're like, okay, no, we're okay. We can go. Let's keep on."
Are you mocking my vertigo?
No.
Okay, because
No.
what you're describing is how my life actually goes, and also my line of thought. I'm just dizzy from the inside out.
Okay, so. Okay, so previously, for a minute there,
so
I was
what were
trying to
you
tie this
talking about?
back into our cloning 3D printing episode or something, where it's okay, you now have to pay to generate a replacement human being for the one that you removed.
We went different directions.
You have to pay for the man's clone now that you killed.
Okay.
But no, then I kind of like your thing where it's like you removed a life, so now you have to save a life. It's like you are now court mandated. You now have to become a paramedic or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like you have to, because you made the bad boy decision of killing someone. You now have to save a life, and there's no way to obviously generate that scenario. So the closest we have is you are now forced to enter a field in which you are in position to save someone's life.
That's interesting though, because it's definitely reform by fire.
This is my favorite version of this so far.
And then at a certain point though, it's like, who are the EMS? They're all murderers.
Right.
But they're also saving lives. So it's
Right,
like, how
yeah.
can you ever hold them accountable for the murders? Because for every one person they've murdered, they've literally saved thousands maybe, or
This is
however.
actually interesting because then it balances out the world and your soul. And then
Right.
you're one step closer to reaching nirvana. As the Buddhist that you are. I know it's early, but I'm tying this in now.
I think this gets interesting. We're about at time. But I think this gets interesting because so let's say you steal money from someone else. Now you financially owe.
Wait, no.
Oh.
Hold on.
Yeah.
This is Buddhism. I'm making the last 3 minutes of this podcast Buddhism.
We'll
'Cause
just
that's
stop
what
here then.
It's Buddhism within one lifespan. It's what it is. It's the
Yeah.
idea of Buddha, it's that's the idea of reincarnation. It's you were really crappy in this life, so the next life you're coming back in a bad situation where you have to try to make up for what you did last time, right? It's that
Yeah.
kind of idea. It's it's mandated karma. It's you did a bad, so now you have to come back as
good.
as a a paramedic or something. You have to come back, and you're not getting paid. It's not like you're getting you don't get to come back as a glamorous life as a brain surgeon or something. It's you have to serve penance. I mean, it's a version of community service, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's instead of sticking someone in a box where they just have to sit forever, it's you are going to jail where you will take you will learn medical school, or you will learn an essential job that will then contribute toward saving people's lives in some way, or somehow balancing your own scales, I guess, right? So it's taking that cosmic idea and turning it into legal practice.
It's true.
I actually like this. Let's start a new country and make this the rule.
Okay, well, I think you're getting ahead of yourself.
That's the point.
In that we literally haven't discussed how other crimes function. Things like petty theft versus theft of Walmart. If you
Right.
steal something from Walmart, how do you pay back versus if you steal money out of somebody's purse?
Right.
Because then you officially have to generate money back into the system that you took from.
Well, I feel this does go back kind of to that, though, right? It's
I feel like what actually happens
the suing
is that
thing
we're
we
out
talked
of
about earlier.
time.
I'm fine with that. I'm satisfied with this podcast.
I am
It can
too.
end.
I think what happened is we
I
started.
organically got into Buddhism meaningfully, and that is my only goal.
Yeah, no, you absolutely nailed it. I think what happened is we started at a high, and then we really just tanked about 3/4 of the way in. But then we brought it higher than we ever could have.
Yeah, you're right.
This was truly an.
All because of the Santa Claus featuring Tim Allen.
I would say that's what dragged us down. But this was incredibly eye-opening. I think we've discovered a new form in which society could thrive.
I agree.
But just like as a little like PS at the end of it, I don't mean that.